eyes. Feet flat on the floor if you can. Just take a moment and express a little bit of gratitude to yourself for showing up on the Sunday morning. Feel into your body. Feel where it's tight, maybe. Feel where it could be loosened. Relax the space between your eyes. Relax your jaw. Relax your shoulders. Remind yourself that you're on safe ground. Feel the power that comes when you get grounded, when you get out of your head, into your body where the real information lives, where the real stories are. Feel your heart opening a bit. Any armor that you have up, to drop it down a tad. Again, we're amongst brothers, teammates, people who have our backs, people who've got each other. Just let that feeling wash over you for a second. Imagine if you had that feeling all day. From the moment you woke up to the moment you went to bed. I have a team of guys that have me. See what that does to your body. Think of how less reactive you'd be if you know you had a bunch of cornermen. Just hold on to that feeling, just for one more breath. Because that's true. And yet sometimes, even myself, I forget that. But the remembering cuts my stress levels in half. Let's take one last deep breath together. Blow it out. Begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. Slowly come back into your body. If you left it, come back into the room. And begin to blink your eyes open. Guys, just take a look at the screen. Right? When I first started this, I can't tell you how many times I heard, well, men aren't going to get together. Men don't care. Men aren't interested. Men blah, 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 blah. Here we are. And I apologize for those of you that are coming in late from Mighty Networks, from that link. We're still figuring out some tech, but I appreciate you all showing up. So guys, we're going to dive right in. And there's a little bit of I'm setting this up a different way on purpose, so just go with me here. Here's what we're going to do first. I'm going to put you guys in pairs in breakout rooms, and you're going to each have 2 minutes to tell a story of something that's happened to you in the last 72 hours. That's the whole game. So person A gets 2 minutes to be like, oh my God, Friday, blah, 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 blah. And that's it. And then you're going to switch 2 minutes. Then we're going to come back. And there's a reason for this. So go with me. We're going to talk for a few minutes. I'm going to give you some story structure. We're going to talk about why story is important. It is the fucking most important thing I can think of or know of, and have spent the last 4 years just studying story, practicing story. I'm in a storytelling mastermind group that meets twice a year somewhere in the world, and we meet every month just like this. We're constantly working on story. And the reason behind it is to see about better branding, making more money, having more connection with people. But we'll get to that. So 2 minutes, ready? First, say who you are, where you're from, because you may actually be meeting a brand new human, and then dive in. All right, let's do this. Hopefully the tech works here. And if any group has, oh, there we go, we're all two. Go. And I'll let you know when it's time to switch. And Zach and Michael, whenever you get a chance, feel free just to join each other in a room.
Dads, we were in that Hanoi pit of hell together. Boy, I sure heard a bunch of
Beautiful. Let's just wait for the last couple guys to come back in. Maybe I can just kill these rooms. There we go. Baker, good to see you, brother. Beautiful. Do a quick raise of a hand if you feel like you have any better understanding of this human who you just met 90 seconds ago. All right? Amazing, amazing, amazing. Is everybody back? Do we have, there we go. Hopefully everybody's back. Okay, so why do we tell stories? What's the importance of this? Like, why pick a whole Sunday session, one of our gatherings, to talk about this? There are more books than I could care to think about on the science, the reasoning, the et cetera, about the power of storytelling. So we're not going to rehash all of that you guys can get on your own, but just hit very, very quickly. These are some of the things that have stuck in my head over the past couple of years. Science-wise, 7 parts of your brain light up when you hear a story. I think it's like 3 or 4 light up when you hear facts or a list. Now, our people, we love facts and we love logic and we love reason. But when we learn to incorporate story, we're going to engage people in front of us far more intimately, and that may be a challenging word, and far more influentially. And that's really what I'm after, because you guys are a bunch of leaders. You're a group of leaders. Leaders influence humans via story, in my opinion. Last week I was on a call. You guys know, I've had him on, Stefandos, the like Greek Australian kind of hybrid dude. He and his wife led a group of women through this 8-week like become the queen course or something, call in your man, call in your king, etc. And then they had a panel of us guys come in and just talk about the male experience. And so before we went and got in front of these women, it was a group like this. And it was just guys, like we didn't know each other. I knew a couple of them, but we're like shooting the shit, kind of nervous, kind of awkward, like wondering like, oh, what's that guy got in the background behind him over his shoulder? But no connection really, unless we'd met each other elsewhere. No intimacy, no knowledge, no affinity, right? We didn't really give a shit about each other. Then when we got in front of the group, men started sharing their stories. And some of them were fucking horrific. And some of them were not. But yet after each guy talked, I went, holy shit, I had no idea. Wow. I now know a part of you that very few people know. Like, I feel like we're super connected. We're brothers. In a 5-minute story, guys, a 3-minute story, right? So we can say this is about marketing. We can say it's about branding. We can say it's about influencing if we're in the business space. We can say it's about romance. Like, what is love if not falling in love with a story? But I'm really about using story as connection. And so that was a huge piece. How many of you have seen also, I was going to pull it up, but I think a number of us have seen it, Pulp Fiction, when Christopher Walken tells the watch story, right? Everybody know what I'm talking about here? Yeah? This shouldn't be too, yeah, cool. Now, what is that? What is the difference between the watch before the story and after the story? Everything. Otherwise, it's just a piece of metal that keeps time. But he literally goes back and puts himself in harm's way to get the watch because of the story. So think about that. If I handed you a pen and was like, you guys, free pen from the nation. You're like, thanks, bro. 36 cents. Good for you. But I was like, I climbed to the top of Everest and found this pen and I'm giving it to you. And you'd be like, suddenly there's a lot more energy. There's a lot more weight around that pen. It's been infused with something that gives it importance. That's a really key point. And the last piece I want to talk about is our personal stories. We all have stories. They inform us. Hear that word. They inform us. They inform our behavior. They inform our reactions all day long. I'll send this interview out later on, but my buddy Jeremy, Long Distance Love Bombs, interviewed a woman named Padilla. If you haven't caught that interview, listen to it. Padilla, real quick, is an artist in Los Angeles who grew up with a bipolar, drug addict, prostitute mother, basically alone in the woods. So think about the horrific things that this girl had to live through, right? When you hear her, I just got chills. When you hear her talk about her background, she says, I had an inconvenient childhood. Think about that. Think about the difference between I was so horribly abused that when I went to therapy, they said they'd never seen anybody who would live through what I'd lived through. That's true. But she's now done enough work with the story to be able to say it was inconvenient. And she also, God bless her, calls her mom a freelancer instead of a prostitute. So again, the power of wording, the power of the story. When you hear this, you'll get it. Anybody unclear or confused or misguided as to why this is important? Like, do you see story everywhere you go? Raise your hand if you do. Because when you start to, it's going to change everything. Anybody who's had to sit through a fucking PowerPoint knows that, and like I have about a 9-second PowerPoint tolerance. And yet how many times have we had been in a meeting like this and someone's like, boom, 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 boom. I'm telling you this stuff because I want to separate you from the pack. Who's been to a wedding where they're like, you know what's beautiful about weddings? They give microphones to people who have no public speaking ability or practice. And what do people do? They're like, Susie and I, when I were 6, we did this. Then when we were 9, we did this. And like, I'm sitting in the back like, please get me the fuck out of here. And then someone comes up and goes, in 2009, Jane and I were walking down the street. And I'm like, oh, a storyteller. Fuck yeah, give me more, give me more, give me more. I want you all to be brilliant storytellers, whether this is your only month in the nation or you're with us for the next 5 years, because it will help you make so much more fucking money. It will help you connect with other men and other women and your children so much deeper. And it will also allow you to walk in the world in a different way. If you're not sold, call me after. I'll keep hammering the same points. So here's what we're going to do. If you look in the chat, everybody can see, I wrote out the 5 S's. The guys who did the HHB course, this should be a refresher. These are my coach and my teacher's 5 S's. They're not mine, so I'm giving credit where credit's due. Her name's Kimberly Weil. She was my TED coach. She came up with the 5 S's of storytelling. And then we're going to go through them. I'm going to go through them right now. We'll go through them slowly, and then you're going to go through them again. The first one is setting. This is really important. If I say, I fell down the stairs, and that's how I start my story. You guys are going to be like, were you 9? Wait, how old were you? What was going on? Where were you? But if I'm like, in 2009, I was 10 years old, and I was standing on the top of the stairs. Okay, your brain's like, okay, cool. I can hear the rest of the story. I don't have all these question marks. So setting, where were you? What time period was it roughly? How old were you? What was going on in that time? Again, we're trying to relax people's brains so they can connect to us. Number 2, snap. Something has to happen. Right? This is why wedding stories are so shitty, because they're chronological, but like nothing happened. But I was like, guys, this morning I drove to the supermarket. I bought an Egg McMuffin. I drove home. I ate it. You guys would be like, that's a fucking awesome story, bro. Thanks. Awesome. So snap, something has to happen. Something that's different than usual. And anybody who knows the hero's journey, this is the inciting incident. Something has to happen. Now, here's the most important part of storytelling. And the thing that us men love to skip right through because we don't like to admit that it happened. A struggle. Some kind of struggle. Right? Imagine Rocky IV without the training montage. Remember that fucking thing, how awesome it was? He's like running through the snow with the yoke. Imagine without that, or like it going all the rounds. He just like comes out and goes boop and beats Drago, and that's it. No struggle. That movie would not be one of the best ever made if that were the case. So struggle, something has to, like, oh, the tussle. We love that shit, don't we? Like imagine if Lord of the Rings was a 7-minute movie. Not that awesome. Struggle leading to a shift. The struggle has to have come for some reason. Something has to come from the struggle. There has to be some kind of, and so for the first time, I decided to go left. And then the last piece is success, but there's some caveats to this. Success may not always be, and then it was amazing, or then it was great. Everything turned out perfectly. It can just be some kind of transformation or change. The 5 S's: setting, snap, struggle, shift, success. So, 2009, I sent my buddy a text. It's 2009. I was 30 years old, living in Los Angeles, California. Out of the blue, decided to send my buddy a message. That's the snap. Setting, you got snap. What do you think about moving to Santa Barbara and opening a gym? Fuck, we went back and forth. Should we do it? Should we not do it? Should we do it? Should we not do it? We've never done it before. Worst economy in history. None of us have ever run a gym. What the fuck do we do? You know what? Played small my entire life. Worked for other people. I'm fucking going for it. We bought the URL. Shift. Here we are 10 years later. Jeff Baker's on the call. He was one of our first gym members. We have CrossFit Pacific Coast babies that exist in the world because of that gym. Success. Right? So do you see the elements in each story? They're in that story. Okay, here's what I want you guys to do now. Any questions on that? I know I'm moving kind of quick. When I shoot a video for Instagram, when I shoot a video for YouTube, when I give a speech, I write all those S's and then just fill in the blanks. So I have don't have it in front of me, notebooks that are blank pages just with the S's. So it's really easy to go down the line. So here's what I want you guys to do next. I'm going to put 5 minutes on the clock and some lovely writing music. And I want you to write out a story following the 5 S's. And I'd love it if this story has a little bit of juice in it. So it's important to you as opposed to like what you had for breakfast this morning. It doesn't have to be, the worst day of your life or the one day, just something that's got some importance. All right. So you can even write setting 2008, blah, 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 Los Angeles County Marine Corps. It's for you, George. Snap. Yeah. All right. Any questions on that? 5 minutes. You guys are going to share these stories with each other. So if it's something that you don't want to say, Jamie, feel free to unmute yourself.
Yeah. I'm not seeing the 5 S's in the chat. I might have come in a little late on there. Oh, there we go. Is
anybody, Boyd just reposted them?
Yep.
Can you guys see the chat? Is it there, Jay?
Yeah, it's there.
Okay.
It's there.
Cool.
Thanks.
Cool. Not a worry. All right. I'm going to mute him. We got 5 minutes. Ready? Go.
Giving up this whole life on me. Call it out like a family. Stood up at my time to rise until the rubber leaves the road. You said don't lie, so I made the truth. Seemed like a lie to even you. Control your feelings, please. That you did not know where you're going to.
So don't you worry, you'll be my resolution. Characters of no illusion. You'll be my resolution. One month down and it's inside. Oh, I'm guaranteed to lose my mind. It's dangerous to sleep inside. You might know what I'm trying to hide. So from the cradle to quarter age. Oh, I bought the book but didn't flip the page. Oh, ready to sit still, we stay as far away from the coming of day. That's halfway, guys. You got 2.5 minutes left. So don't you worry, you'll be my resolution. It's all no illusion. You will be my resolution. It's all no illusion. You will be my resolution. 90 seconds. Put it down and see. This is really the place to be. I'm not you, nor you me. But we're both moving steady. 30 seconds. Start to wrap up. Okay. Good work, you guys. Here's what's going to happen. Not a worry, John. I'm going to put you back in a pair, probably a different pair. And each guy is going to get 5 minutes to tell that story. And it's okay if you read. It's okay if you have to check your notes. This isn't a memorization course. 5 minutes. And then trust me, we're in a little bit of a process. So then we're going to come back. We're going to do something else. We're going to come back. We're going to do something else. Then we're going to talk at the end. So in your pair, figure out who goes first. Again, introduce yourself. Say where you're from. And then you got 5 minutes to share that story. Questions on this? I'll let you know when it's the switch time. Good to go? Okay. And, oh, I think you may guys, I may be able to keep you in the same rooms. Go. Zach, are you, hold on, let me unmute you. Can you unmute yourself? There you go.
Yeah, nobody else was in my breakout room.
Oh shit. I'm sorry. I thought I had a solid list of it. So let's do this. Wait, is Cam? Let me see if I can get you and Cam together. See if
unless
you join room two. Does
may
it ask
have
you to join room two? What's that?
I may have fucked it up. I don't
It's
know.
okay. It's saying that you and Cam haven't joined a room. Is it asking you to join? What room am I in? I may have now fucked up the entire thing. So if everybody comes crashing back in and be like, it got blown up. So here's what we'll do. I'm about to have them switch, and then you'll just tell me your story. I think
Okay.
somehow a group of 3 got formed. Again, like
Okay.
I'm so grateful for this tech. And yet if 3% things that you're like, meh, let me make sure I can communicate with them. Okay, so we're gonna give them a minute. So go ahead, let me hear it, but just know in a minute I'm gonna switch everybody.
Okay. So in 2019, I was coming out of a wild 3 years as being a cop. I had been in public safety for about 10 years total. I bought a new farmhouse. It was kind of my reset. I need to get out of this fucking life. It was fucking wild. I did some bad shit. Bought the new house. 2 months later, it burns down completely. Totally fucking gone. It was through the roof before the fire department gets there. So I vividly remember the week after that, like, oh shit, like my fresh start just burned to the ground. What the fuck am I going to do now? And I remember just a feeling of everything's going to be okay. This is your fresh start, and getting to rebuild a brand new house with my family and just have that fresh start.
1 second.
You're
First
fine.
of all, that's a fucking phenomenal story. That's crazy. Sorry, let me just get rid of this. Tell me more about the struggle.
So the struggle, I mean, it from being, I was in the fire service, I did EMS, I did police work. The struggle really came having to tell my story over and over again about how I did not burn my house down and being treated criminal.
Really? People thought you did it as like a insurance ploy?
Yep. Because the insurance had, all I had done was called the insurance and told them I needed it covered. And they, of course, gave me full coverage. It was $250K. So people automatically thought I burned the house down.
Wow.
And to investigators that over and over again and, pretty much prove I did not do it.
Yeah.
And was an old farmhouse. But the real success was in the reset, finding out how to be a better man.
How to be a better.
In finding you and the group and being able to have that was all part of the success and the reset. What life actually threw at me was the reset to be successful.
Beautiful. First of all, fascinating, absolutely fascinating. And I would imagine you don't get 250 grand. You have to pay the mortgage off.
Actually, it was unique because I only had a $50,000 loan. I paid $70,000 for my property with the house. So I'm currently living in a $220,000 house and only paying on my $50,000 mortgage.
Oh, wow. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That's fascinating.
So I have a paid for with a $50,000 mortgage on it, and it's all brand new. I don't have anything to worry about.
That's so cool, first of all.
It
You know,
it was the reset I needed, and
yeah,
God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, gave me that after all the shit I went through.
yeah.
You know,
And
because
Zach,
there
what do
was
you do
a lot
now?
more. Huh?
What do you do now?
So I'm working for my family, doing carpet cleaning and restoration work,
Okay.
but I'm trying to do my wood shop at home full time. That's the next success.
Okay. Beautiful. I want you to think, and just because I have you alone here, that story, it needs to be in every piece of your marketing and everything that you talk about, you know, like from ashes to something, because no offense, restoration and woodworking isn't that exciting. But what is a dude waking up with his brand new house on fire, right? So if you walked into a room of 50 potential clients and we're like, here's my woodworking, here's my restoration, you're going to get, I just got chills, so I know we're talking about the right shit. You're going to get 10% people like, okay, cool, I'm interested in woodworking, I'm interested in restoration. But if you walked in and said, imagine waking up to the sound of crackling wood in your bedroom. That's not supposed to happen. Then you go like, in 2009, I bought my dream home. 20 days later, I was standing there looking at its ashes. Now, that's never happened to me. Yet I'm like, tell me more. Holy shit. I can relate to you because in some way I've woken up and my life has been burnt to the ground. So instantly, like, you and I are now homies. Where before, like, I'm not into woodworking, I'm not into restoration. Like, okay, let me hear your stuff and then let me get on with my day.
Yeah.
So think about this. When I first started the Nation, I had Baker, Dave, and another guy. And I was like, I need to know your stories. And I need you to be able to tell them so well that we're going to meet every couple of weeks and we're just going to practice telling them. Because I want you guys out in the field not being like, hey guys, I know this great men's group, and I think you should join. I want you to say, I remember the morning my wife left. Because then instantly, like, just that sentence, right? 50 dudes are like, okay, I get you. You got me. I got street cred. So think about this. How do you incorporate it while also separating, like, you're not, it's not this thing that you're like re-traumatized over and over and over and over and over by telling the story.
Yeah.
I mean, so let me also go back to, I want to know more of the struggle.
Yeah.
Did you throw up? Were you nauseous for a couple weeks? Did you think about killing yourself? Was it like, put me in your shoes. And I'm going to talk about this in a minute when everybody comes back. We think we want to breeze over that stuff because it's going to make you uncomfortable, when in fact, I actually want you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
A really great, like, I don't want to wake up and have my house burned down, brother. So what I do is I want to live vicariously through you. So, like, give me all of it. Right. And so often we go from my house burnt down and it was the best thing that ever happened to me in 5 seconds. And people are like, but I missed all the juice. Well, let me bring everybody back. A hell of a story. I think it's so applicable to what you do because you work with wood and you work in restoration.
That's just the tip, too, brother.
Oh, I'm sure.
The struggle before that is fucking, like, I need to write a book because it's unbelievable.
Yeah, please do. All right, I'm gonna have us leave this room. Hopefully we come back to the good to chat with you. Welcome back. Once we gather, we're gonna have a quick jam on that, and then we're going to regather, and it could be the different groups. It could be separate groups. I know there was a group of 3 and some breakout room challenges. How do we close all rooms? So let's give these last couple guys a second to come back. Amazing. All right, guys, hear this. Even if your story, like I was talking to Zach, and I don't think Zach minds, I'm going to share a little bit of a piece of it. Zach's house burnt down. That's a really interesting thing. That doesn't happen to a lot of us, I hope. It's never happened to me. So often in storytelling, what we, especially guys, we skip the struggle, or we de-emphasize the struggle, right? Like my house burnt down, and then 2 weeks later, it was the best thing that ever happened to me, and now I have this thing, and let me tell you all about my new love life, my new relationship, my new money-making thing, blah, blah, blah. And me as the speaker, I'm like, or the listener, I'm like, I missed something there. Wait. You don't just do that. Like intuitively, we kind of know. And here's one of the main reasons we do this as the speaker and the storyteller. We don't want the audience to suffer. Or as guys, like we don't kind of want to admit that it was that hard, but fuck that shit. We're open-hearted, we're open conscious. I remember Kimberly Weil and another guy named Jean-Louis Rodri, a famous Hollywood guy, saying, make your fucking audience suffer. Stand there and just be like, I hope you guys hate this. Make them deal with you. Make them deal with what you just said. And that was one of the most powerful things I'd ever heard in public speaking. Because what we do is we drop something, like, and that's the day my wife left. And they're like, but it was okay. Because, now look at this. Like, I put on 15 pounds of muscle and blah, blah, blah. As opposed to, that's the day my wife left. Now fucking deal with that for 30 seconds while I stand here. And you're watching the audience is just like, oh shit, please tell us everything's okay. Did you do it? You're like, now I own you. If you're telling about the struggle, guys, all of us, we love logic and facts, yet struggle is emotion. So I want to know, what was it like to wake up the day after that house burnt down? Like, were you throwing up that morning? Were you nauseous? Were you super depressed? Were you suicidal? Did you think, like, was that it? Like, and here's why I want to know it. Because I don't ever want my fucking house to burn down, and I don't want to have to go through all that shit, but I want to do it right here from my side of the screen, nice and safely. You guys catching that? So your audience wants to put themselves in your shoes, and they will. So give them the full experience. Let them feel it's like we're all living vicariously through our own stories. When someone's telling a story about playing in the NFL, I've never played in the NFL, but I put myself in the NFL. And so I want my fingers broken. I want my knee torn. Because at the end of the story, I go, I'm good. Whew, that was awesome. So put them in there and let them feel that. That's also how they're going to relate to you. So emphasize the struggle. Here's part 2 of this exercise. We're going to do this again. This time you have 3 minutes to tell the exact same story. So now we have to get a little bit efficient, like cut the fat. Do I need that? Did I repeat that? Etc. 3 minutes. My first iteration of the dark TED Talk was 26 minutes. And Kimberly's like, it's got to be 18. I was like, that's impossible because every word in there is perfect. Like, don't fuck with me, I'm an artist, right? And then she's like, don't fuck with me, I run the TED Talk, so make it 18. And so I had to go back and literally word for word be like, get rid of it, get rid of it, get rid of it, get rid of it. And then that talk became lean and mean. So get your story down to 3 minutes. Clear on this? All right. Hopefully you're in the same breakout rooms. If there's a group of 3, I'm going to switch someone up to the group of 1. And go. Cam, can you hear me? You can unmute yourself. I've put everybody in breakout rooms.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. So we're doing, I'm not sure where you cut out. I've had everybody do a 5-minute story. Boyd's going to join us too. And now they're doing that same story, but they have to do it in 3 minutes.
Okay.
So think about a story. If you have one that you're going to tell next, and we're going to do it in a minute. But we'll be rejoining everybody in about 1.5 minutes.
Okay.
What's up, Liam?
You say hi, Trevor?
Hi, buddy. Is that a mohawk?
Yeah, bro.
It's pretty freaking wild.
It was blue a couple of weeks ago, but it all washed out.
It happens.
It's gonna
Cam, where are you from?
Are you talking to me, Trevor?
Yeah, where are you from, brother?
Montana.
Oh, amazing. You know Shell?
By Glacier.
Is he on Shell's team, Dave?
I do not think so.
Okay.
I'm gonna, now that I know that they're from Montana, once Shell's out of the woods, I'm gonna get those two connected.
Yeah, Cam, we have a team leader named Shell, and he's doing the best thing that we could ever ask him to do, which is also frustrating because the best thing we could ever ask him to do is follow his bliss, and he's been living in the woods for like 6 weeks at a time, doing hunting, guiding, and leading it. And
Oh, nice.
Now we're like, awesome. What do we do with your team? But we're super fucking proud of you for doing that. So we'll connect you guys.
Okay.
Really good dude. All right,
Nice.
Let's bring everybody back.
Jamie, let's get on a call in a couple of days and try that again when we don't have internet issues.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I want to hear way more about your cricket story.
Yeah, likewise.
Right?
Let's
Like
connect
now
offline.
everybody has like a tiny piece of each other's stories, and it's like, I want to know. You gotta tell me more about this.
Oh, I heard about the cricket story on our leadership call in August, and I told Jamie, I was like, a couple weeks ago, I was like, I wonder what happened with the cricket situation. But it's a frigging awesome story, and Jamie tells it extremely well. So
Good. I can't wait to hear it. All right, guys, let's get everybody back. Just gonna wait for the last one or two. Oh, Kyle, your dog is just like, get me out of here. The poor thing's just like staring at the door. Okay, is that everybody? Anybody catch that? Oh, there we go. Now we got everybody. Beautiful. All right. So I imagine you guys are a little more intrigued by each other and like, holy shit, I had no idea. So here's where the exercise, and I apologize in advance, it's going to get a little bit, like some of you will be like, go fuck yourself, but we're going to do it anyway. And I'm also apologize, we're running a little bit long. Dave, if you could just note that maybe we schedule these for an hour 15 from now on. We're going to put you guys back in a room, and here's what you're going to do. You're going to tell the exact same story in 1 minute. So figure out the fat, figure out what gets cut, right? Why? Because you may have a minute to grab someone's attention, and you can tell a 20-minute story in 60 seconds. I won't have you do it because we're short on time, but the next piece underneath is do it in 1 sentence. But we'll leave that for, leave a little teaser for something else. So same story. You guys have 1 minute each. I'll switch you. Ready? And go. Cam, let me see if there's a room with only one guy. If not, oops, let me start a timer. All right, it's you and I, brother. Tell me a story.
Like embarrassing, funny? Why don't you just...
Something that grabs you. Something that actually tell me something that happened in the last 72 hours.
Oh,
You got a minute.
So I went for a run. I got an awesome trail that I run. It's a UTV trail, and it's all downhill. And I gave myself 30 minutes to do it. And like an idiot, I let myself have 15 minutes to run back up this goddamn hill, and I was dying. I was dying by the time I got back. It's like, don't be a pussy, don't be a pussy, don't be a pussy. So I come around this corner just about to like this last crest that I like to power up, and fucking black bear sitting there.
What did you do? Don't leave me there. What did you do?
I mean, I carry a gun with me. I carry a pistol on my hip when I'm out there doing that, and it's mostly to scare shit away.
Yeah.
I never even pulled my gun out, you know.
Oh wow.
But yeah, no, he just looked at me and said shit and turned around and ran. But yeah,
I love it. See, it's a hell of a story, right? So have you come in and out of this call? Have you gotten kicked off a few times, or is it just coming in late?
Coming in late.
Okay. So really what we're doing is working on the power of storytelling.
Okay.
Of why? Because that to me, if I were to meet you and be like, hi, I'm Traver. You're like, hi, I'm Cam. Are you a fireman, it looks like?
Yeah.
I'm a fireman. I have 2 kids. I do this. I went to school here. I'd be like, that's great. Thanks. But if you're like, hi, I'm Cam. Listen to what happened to me this morning. I was running and like, oh, I'm so much more engaged.
Yeah.
And the reason we're doing this is because I view everybody in the nation as leaders. And you, brother, you're engaged with the public. You're engaged with other people in the fire department. So when you have this arsenal of stories, it's just going to make you far more influential,
Sure.
far more engaging. Let me bring everybody back. George, were you in a room with somebody?
Yeah, but it cut out, so I ended up
Okay.
coming back.
So
Yeah,
it's the beauty and curse of tech is that we can talk to each other from all over the world, but every once in a while there's a hiccup.
that's all right. I did write a badass story in 5 minutes. Then you told me to write it in 1, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
You know how I know this is successful is because after the first 5 minutes, everyone was like this. When they came back, then it was like, now it's like, holy fuck! I just heard some crazy story, or I know the guy, or I'm now connected. It's like I wish I had before. I should have done photos of everybody's faces before and after we did this. All right, let's let these last couple guys trickle in. And if anybody needs to leave, I apologize again about us running a little bit late. We're going to stick around for 2 minutes. I want to get some reflections of how this went. And then the team leaders are going to stay on the call. Everybody else will drop. And I just want to talk for 30 seconds about the challenge that we have coming up in October. It's going to be a fun one.
I'd like to pipe in too, Traver.
Yeah,
Thanks
brother.
a lot. Thanks a lot for that, by the way.
For the challenge?
Yeah. It's part of my job description with my clients. Like, I work at a distillery. I'm supposed to sample. And now I have to spit and not swallow. And this after
that sounds like a hell of a story to me, man.
and
Right?
this after 2 months of being dry with HHP. Like, it's
Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's chime
Mark.
in. Anybody a reflection on that, thought on that? How was it? And most importantly, do you see how this works? This is an hour, but imagine having 4 or 5 stories that are go-to, that you've practiced, that you've worked on, that you've told before. That one, like I don't tell my MMA stories when I'm talking to senior citizens, right? I don't tell the darkness story when I'm talking to kids, but I have this arsenal of stories that I can pull out on a podcast, on an interview, meeting someone, first date, whatever it is, that are just go-to. And it's far more engaging than just listing off your CV or your resume or whatever it is. So anybody, pipe in. Just raise your hand. You probably have to unmute yourself. So I can outlast everybody. I spent a month in the dark.
I'll pipe.
Yeah, Nigel, thank you.
Adding the paint to the story was really gripping. I was with Albar, and he just added so much visceral quality to the struggle. so enmeshed in it all of a sudden. It was quite a shift from the segment before.
I love it. Yeah, you added a little bit of spice, a little bit of flavor, right? Think of it like you're making a recipe. I love it. Awesome. Anybody else? Sure. Tony James.
Yeah, no, I was very, very enthralled with this exercise. This exercise was extremely successful. I learned a shit ton about my counterpart. He was an incredible guy. He was talking about his failure of his marriage. I don't want to bring his name up because of that, but the suffering portion that he exclaimed in even the first 5-minute portion was just incredible.
Awesome. Robert Wunderlich.
I struggled on that last one.
The 60 second. I'm glad Jessel's not on the call. I'd have been like, just keep it under 45 minutes, please. Yeah.
Well, I tried doing 16 years of jiu-jitsu in there, so I failed miserably on that last one. I got a lot of work to do to distill it down to that minute. So
you know what I found, Robert, in workshops, what ends up happening is guys just do it faster. So it's like, and then you're like, whoa, bro, we're not at an auction here. Like, the point wasn't just to like speed up the RPMs.
Well, and my student, I have several students on the call too, and they know me that I have a tendency to run on. So I need to bring it in, man.
I love it. Let's have Tyler P. How was this for you, brother? I don't know if we've heard from you yet.
No, it was good. I mean, the guy was paired up with a quick struggle story that he shared with me, but more personally for me, it was just the I guess the art of reflection of yourself, looking back for to these stories, because a lot of the time I find, I don't know who can relate, but you just kind of get in the groove of the day or the week and just keep going ahead, and you kind of forget about all the cool shit you might have done, right?
Yeah,
so
right on.
Actually, I appreciated that, kind of looking back. It's like, oh yeah, I did that. I can share that.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So
cool. Yeah, I'll share with you guys when I first had to do the tell a story that happened. It was in the last 24 hours at a workshop, and I was like, nothing fucking happened in the last 24 hours. And she was like, trust me, something happened. And so one, the power of that, and then two, I lost my second thought. Every time I fly, I take a notebook, I have a journal, and I make a point of writing out 15 story headings. The time I tripped in elementary school, the time I threw up when getting food poisoning, and I just do 1 sentence headings. And not all of you are in the content creation world, but yet aren't we all in the content creation world if we're in business? So just an idea of brainstorming. You've probably heard this really obnoxious saying, like, if you can't come up with 5 stories, come up with 25. Trust me, you've all got stories. All right, I don't want to take up any more of your time, but I know Dave Boyd has a quick announcement. Dave, you want to hop in?
Hey guys, just a quick reminder. You guys are all on a team. Be a part of a team, right? Get engaged. The reason that we have these teams and that you're assigned to a team is so that you can do these things more often. You're going to be looking out for notification from your team leader within the next week about when your team is specifically gathering within the next 2 weeks. All right. You guys are going to have an online small men's group. So keep an eye out on that. All right. Get in your WhatsApp groups and chat, share. That is an extension of Mighty Networks where you guys can have more intimate conversations and get to know each other better, just like we did today. And it took 3 breakout sessions of 5 minutes, and you guys are all more intimately connected with another man of the nation than you were before you got on the call today. So be on the lookout, team leaders. We're going to talk here in just a second. So Traver, if you don't have anything else.
I'll jump in real quick. Mighty Networks, guys. I know you have to go somewhere separate and actually engage. And this was the challenge that we went back and forth with. Do we stay on Facebook? Do we not stay on Facebook? And I still believe in my heart that being off Facebook is better. Yet a lot of us were on Facebook for other reasons and then would chime in. So please make a point of checking in with your team, with your group, or with Mighty Networks at least once a day If you've noticed in the last couple of days, Mighty Networks turned into a bit of a shit show because we upgraded so that we're actually paying them more so that we can do announcements. We can actually make it a better experience for you all. But as leaders, I want you guys engaging. If your group seems quiet, engage your group. The same issues that we run into in the outside world, we're going to run into in here. Yeah, 100% stay off Facebook. The most passionate messages I've ever gotten from this group were when we left Facebook. And so I'm fully with you. Challenge. I'm going to put a post up tomorrow morning about it. But essentially, we're going to do some hard shit this month. It's a month of, if you're doing it with us, of sobriety. If you don't drink, be sober from something else. We're also going back to 33 burpees a day for the month. Why? Because they're fucking hard. And when I look at the male landscape right now, especially here in the US, I love men, and a lot of people have gone soft. And we are in a really unique position in the West with an election coming up that I want us walking into November lean, mean, conscious, and fucking jacked. All right, so there'll be more on that tomorrow. Love you guys. Thank you for your time and your attention and your willingness to share with each other. I really hope that this brought you guys together, and you look at the man now that when you see his name post, you're like, oh, wow, that guy's got an awesome story. Cheers. Team leaders, please stay on. We're going to make this pretty quick, and we'll get you guys back to your Sunday as well. Cheers, boys. Go Rocket.